it says we're live. So, hello, everybody. Thank you for coming back to Birdie and Books. And I couldn't do a category romance discussion without the category queen. So I asked Sarah to join me for the day. And we're going to discuss category romance, Harlequins, also Mills and Boone.
Yep.
Am I missing any other title? Because I know they're called.
Well, their Harlequin, Mills and Boone is really all that's out now. There used to be a lot more back in the 80s and 90s, but not. They're gone.
The signature romances and all that stuff used to be out in
and Jill Shalvis wrote for Love Swept, and I mean there was a whole bunch.
I wish they kept that line. I love the books.
Same. Anytime I find them in a thrift store, I get super excited.
I do too. Hi.
Hi, Emily.
So, basic question. How would you describe category to someone that doesn't read category or has never read category?
Okay, so category romance is basically they are what most people consider to be those trashy romance novels, the one that your mom read or your grandmother read or your cool aunt. There, you have visuals. I do not.
I brought extras just in case.
Harlequin does them now, and if you go on harlequin.com or if you're in your local Walmart or what have you, you'll see these books, and they all look. I have an issue now with the fact that they changed the covers, but we won't get into that right now.
We can, because
they all used to look the same. Like you would see the intrigue would have the purple banner across the top, and it said intrigue, and then it was blah blah blah, whatever the book was. So category means the definition is that there is a set number of books that come out every single month in the line, and the line itself adheres to a certain standard in terms of page count and in terms of spice level and in terms of there's kind of a lot of the authors need to stay within a bubble, if that makes sense. And so
isn't it like a word?
A word count. Yeah. They have to stay under however many thousand words. And the thing is that what's great about that for the reader is that when you pick one up, you know exactly what you're going to get. Yeah, the story's going to be different. The characters are going to be different, but you know what the spice level is going to be like. You know how long the story is going to take to read. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what beats are going to get hit. And it's comfort reading. That's what I love about it.
I call it mac and cheese.
Exactly.
It's my mac and cheese reading.
Exactly. It's not a ton of, not that it's not a ton of thought. And I'm like we were talking about just before we came on, that I used to do the podcast with Brie. And I've been fortunate enough to talk to so many of these authors. And
they're so willing to talk to you too. That's what's so cool.
I know. I'm like, really?
They're like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, are you sure?
When we got Maisie Yates, I nearly had a stroke. Oh my God, Maisie Yates.
When I got a message from LaQuette and she's like, Erin wants you to interview me. I'm like,
I know, right?
Excuse me?
I know.
Pick me up off the floor, please.
Because to us as readers, I don't think the authors really get it that we are fangirling. You know what I mean?
Before we do interviews, I fangirl for a good 20 minutes backstage. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I need to fangirl for a second.
Oh yeah. Hello. But yeah, that's the basics of category. It's been around. Actually, this is Harlequin's 75th anniversary this year. So it was started in 1949.
The thing I don't like about it is it doesn't say it's 75. You have to look on the spine now.
I know.
I hate it.
Okay, I've been reading these books for a long time.
This one's on the back. It's weird.
And when their 60th anniversary hit 15 years ago, it was a huge production. An entire year. I have books from that year, and it was on the front cover, spotlight. They spotlight a different line every month. Now it's just like, oh, yeah, we're 75. We should really acknowledge that.
There's a little thing on the spine, and that's basically it.
Yeah. Come on. You're doing dirty to the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a big deal. Not a lot of publishers last that long. Enjoy it.
And Mills and Boone has been around even longer. So I think,
this one I have is a silhouette.
Ooh, old school. That's an 80s or 90s one.
It just looks like David Hasselhoff to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, is that David Hasselhoff?
Oh, I should have grabbed some before the start because there are some classics that I have like covers.
There's some cringy ones too. You're like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. There's one that Garrett and I actually have a copy of it on my shelf. I've never read it, but I happened upon it in a thrift store and I showed my husband. And I'm like, look at the male lead on this. Do you remember the show In Living Color?
Yes.
Okay. Fireman Bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the guy looked like, was Fireman
Jim
Bill.
Carrey.
Oh my God. Like, is he
That's
dead?
awesome.
It looks like a mannequin. But there are some also really, and I don't like what they've done with the new design of the covers.
Yeah.
And some of them
Let's talk about that.
really, really photoshopped, but like embarrassingly photoshopped. You know?
There's one, Julianne Lindsay did one in one of her series, and the girl looked like she's supposed to be walking in the woods with the guy.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's walking on toothpicks.
Yeah.
I'm like, her legs like don't look like they would hold her up.
I know.
And it's not Julie's fault. Julie's a fantastic author.
No. And the authors, and I know how they do.
I'm just like, oh my goodness.
And I know how they do the covers, and I'm like, why did you think that this was okay?
Yeah. Like, you can't even tell what the lines are anymore. Like, this is the newest one from Anna Grace. And it's just like, and they're so big, like compared to the original.
I really don't like these new. I won't.
Like, this is the original. This is the new size, and it's weird, and it doesn't fit on my shelf.
It's the mass market max. I honestly will not buy the new books just because of the size.
No, I can't. The only reason I'm buying certain authors because I'm going to read them.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You buy, like, I'd buy the new Julianne Lindsay. I'd buy the new, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's so strange to me how you go from like the awesomeness of this cheesy cover,
right, to like
this where you can hardly tell what it is.
How much was that one? How much did that one, the Love Inspired, retail for?
$9.
Yeah, for a paperback.
$9.
These were books that you were supposed to walk into the grocery store. You were doing your shopping and you got your eggs and your milk, and you walk by the books and go,
This was 50 cents originally.
Right? And you're like, oh, this is even $2 or $3. Okay, throw it in the cart.
Now, they were less than $5. They were less than $5 when I started reading them in like 2018.
That's what I mean. And that's the thing. Like, that's reasonable to me. $4.99. It's an impulse purchase. $10 is not an impulse purchase.
No, that's nowadays you have to think about it.
No, big time you have to think about it. For sure. Oh, from Manchester. Hello.
Hi.
The old price, but I do like the bigger size. Yeah.
I mean, they're easier to hold, but the price is too much.
Yeah. That's why I buy the ebooks, but that's me, right? Because I already have a collection of over 3,000. I don't think I need any more on my shelf.
Paring down because I have to, and I don't have any more room.
I know. I'm now looking at my collection and thinking, okay, if I can get this on ebook, I think it needs to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's harder for like these. Like, you can't get these anymore unless they I don't know if they did a reprint.
A lot of those are reprints.
Yeah. This came out in 1963.
Yeah. I mean, if you can find the vintage, like, absolutely, I would have a whole collection of just the vintage, like, just because
the sprayed pages kill me. I love it.
God. And the wording is I need like a magnifying glass to read it.
I know. That's one thing I have to give the Heartwarming line credit for is everything comes in large print, which as I'm in my mid-30s now, my eyeballs need my eyeballs need it. I can't do it anymore. You look at some of them, I'm like, why?
My coworkers make fun because I'll be reading on my tablet. They're like, we can read that. We're across the room.
Like, my boyfriend has the same thing. He's like, why is this so big? I'm like, I have eye problems.
Yep. I don't want to strain. I want to enjoy myself.
Yes. And I don't want a headache trying to read. Thank you.
Exactly. I do enough. I don't need headaches while I'm reading.
I wanted to ask you, because I'm listening to a Harlequin book on audio right now. It's Maisie Yates' The One Night Rancher.
Yes.
Why are certain lines on audio and other ones aren't?
That is a very good question. And I think back in the day, when they first started doing audio, this is my assumption, is that those were the ones that were popular with slightly older generation, who
Okay.
maybe could not physically read the books as well as they used to. So you'll see a lot of the Presents books. You'll see a lot of the Love Inspired books, which I'm assuming would be more for an older generation, like
Yeah, and the bind-ups. You see a lot of the bind-ups. You can get them through my library.
precisely.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, same. So the Intrigue line, I think, was pretty big too on audio. They're now branching out a bit more, which is great. In my opinion, like, I know it costs a lot of money to do an audiobook, and I get it. And Harlequin puts out something like 56 books a month.
It's
But
bananas.
there is the Apple Voices.
Yeah.
Like, don't hire an actor necessarily, but I've listened to a couple of them through Hoopla with the Apple Voice, and they're really good. Like, why can't they do that to make it more accessible?
Yeah, sometimes if I can't read it, I will pick it up on ebook through my library and have like the Alexa text-to-speech.
Exactly. But this is like the Apple stuff that I've heard is even better than that, which is pretty
okay.
cool. Yeah.
Lynn Graham is always on audio. I have so many bind-ups
she's
with Lynn Graham. And
Presents,
Presents line, and then all of LaQuette's are on audio. Some of Reese Ryan's on audio. It seems to be certain authors.
That too. Like Maisie Yates, you're definitely going to find on audio. Yeah. I think some of Katie Richards' books are on audio. I can't remember. But yeah, no, I do enjoy grabbing the audio. And if you can, like, if you go on Hoopla and you happen across, like I said, I think there's
so many on audio on Hoopla.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. Heather Graham's books are usually always on audio. Yeah. She's the only one who turned us down on the podcast. And I was turned you not turned us down. We just never heard back. But to be fair, she was the first person we asked. No, second person we asked. So it might have been you're too new, right?
Yeah, I don't know who you are. You're not out there enough.
I know. I'd still love to interview her. But our first was Tara Taylor Quinn. And I think a lot
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah. She was so sweet. I got to get her
on my authors that are so sweet. Like LaQuette is
all of them.
Like, I love her. Like, she's absolutely great. She's like, when I have a new book coming out, can I come back on? I'm like, you don't even have to ask.
Yeah. standing, Rachel Stewart still, hold on. I think I've got it here. I do. Rachel Stewart still sends me. This is the Mills and Boone bind up of her book. Isn't that gorgeous?
I love when they do that. I wish they did that more here.
I do too. Like,
because I pick them up when you see them.
I mean, in this, so it's bigger. I get it. But it's a bind up. It's kind of meant to be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So this is £9 in the UK, which I don't know what the conversion is into Canadian or US dollars.
It's like $2 cheaper in the US. Roughly,
so like
from the UK.
So like, let's say this is $12, but you're getting 2 books.
Right. So 6 and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's reasonable,
Exactly.
But like I said, Rachel Stewart, she's still super sweet. She still sends me all of her books whenever they
come out. Like, I've emailed her a couple times. She answers so quickly. I'm like, I'm so not surprised. I'm surprised when people answer me that quickly.
Yep.
But there are certain lines that I miss, and I wish they would stop taking away lines.
Desire.
Yep.
Brandon Jackson, speaking of, a lot of her stuff is on audio.
Yeah. Thank goodness. Where's the other one? This is the one that really hurt me because I fell in love with it right when it was stopping.
Oh, the Nocturne line. That's the one that I didn't read as much of, to be honest.
And the design and the what was the other line? I remember I think my buddy read it with you, and it was the vampire
Blaze
cowboy. Yeah, that was it.
The vampire and cowboys. That's all you had to say.
It was so strange, but it was fun.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My apologies. Yes, 2 books in one.
Hi, Amy. I just have I want to know what makes them choose to end certain lines, because obviously the Desire line was doing so well. Because I know a lot of people who read a lot of Desire, and then they were ending Desire, and I was like, but why? And there's never any answer.
I did an entire rant
I
on my channel, and I can tell you there is a certain author that I will not name because it was in confidence, who messaged me thanking me for what I said. because
the
all
truth.
of the Desire authors felt the same way, that they didn't understand why it was ending. And it was
Like-
ending basically because of TikTok, book talk, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Because you go into your bookstore now, your Barnes and Noble or whatever your bookstore is,
It's
and there's
as seen on
always
TikTok now.
a table. Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
what they wanted to compete with. So they got rid of the Desire line so they could bring in this monstrosity called Afterglow, which is literally no different. They're just longer stories, bigger books, so they can
Bigger
charge more
books
money.
that are $17.99, by the way.
And that they're hoping that if it doesn't have a category title on it, like, oh, it's not category romance, this is not, this is cool stuff, it's not uncool.
Yeah.
That's my
And
fear,
they-
that they're slowly phasing out the fact that it's category. You know
But
what I
they're
mean?
phasing out what made them popular. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
I know. And that's what I've had other people say. They're like, I don't think it's going to completely go away because, it is a big moneymaker for them.
Yeah.
But as you can tell from the covers now, you can barely tell its category.
The cartoony covers. I just in general hate the cartoony covers.
Well, I can't stand them. I'm sorry.
You can't tell. Like,
What the
my
spice
friend's
level is.
15-year-old daughter picked up a book, and I'm like, yeah, there's spice in that. Put that down.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
there's like no shade. I like her books. Tessa Bailey. Like, they look like something.
They're
a teenager should-
delightful. My Killer Vacation was so good.
Yeah, Fix Her Up. I loved, but like, I wouldn't recommend that to my 13-year-old friend's
Oh,
daughter.
heck no.
No,
Not
like,
in a
but
million years.
that's who's picking it up because it looks like it's for teens.
That's right. And then of course you get the argument from people like, well, maybe okay, so maybe you're right. But I'm pretty sure I trust my 14-year-old niece enough to go walk into the bookstore.
Right.
And she knows that there are some romance books that have, a lot more kissing than others, if you will.
Yes. a lot more adult fun time.
That's right. It's a lot more. And so but if she was thinking to herself, well, okay, this one is probably like, maybe a little too spicy, but like you said, a Tessa Bailey might be okay. And then you read it and go,
right.
I have some questions.
Like, I'm trying to convince a friend to start reading Harlequin, and she doesn't like spice. So I'm like, the heartwarming line. This is for you. Trust me.
Absolutely. They are fantastic. And they're not, there's also love inspired, but that's your religious. If you don't want the religion, absolutely.
And then I recently was trying to tell her, because she loves historical romance, and I'm like, this is your jam. Like, this will be for you. I just recently read this one.
I actually have that one on my shelf. I haven't gotten to it yet. I recognize the cover.
Okay, message me when you read it, because yeah, it's so good.
I will. I like the old Western ones that they don't do anymore.
Isn't it American Romance?
No, American Romance is gone. But no, I'm also talking about the historical line used to do Western historicals.
Really?
They don't do them anymore. Yeah.
I wish they would do more Westerns. Like, I live in the country. Like, I know a ton of people would read it.
Yeah, and it was a lot of like historical, like cowboys and small town. Like the one that I read. Hello. The one that I read earlier this year, The Ballad of Emma O'Toole, was fabulous, and it takes place in Dakota Territory.
That's the next one I'm reading.
Yeah, it's so good.
So excited.
It's so good. I really liked it, but they don't do those ones anymore. They don't do the American West, and it's because the line is very popular in the UK.
Yeah,
the UK doesn't have that kind of a background.
But I would think that, like, because they would be more interested in reading.
You'd think so. You'd think so, but no.
Huh.
But yet Vikings seem to be popular.
Vikings, and they look way too clean on the cover, by the way.
I've always said that. I'm like, dude has not showered in 6 months.
In like a month.
I'm sorry.
And his teeth are probably falling out. Absolutely not.
But
it's so interesting to me how the lines are changing, because I always thought of special edition as like no spice, or the ones that I initially read had no spice. But then I read like a Roan Parish, and I was like, not that it was bad. I was just like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I always assumed special edition was more like behind closed doors.
And that's why it's sometimes very difficult to, like, people are like, oh, what line should I start with? This is what I like. But there are certain ones, like you said, like special edition, where it could go either way. You could read a Rowan Parish that is off the charts, door open, very spicy.
Spicy, which I love.
Well, no, those were great books.
Yeah.
And also and also an LGBTQ plus book, which was great.
Yes. I know. I love the Halloween one. I just read the Halloween one.
I love the Halloween one.
I want more holiday ones. Like I want like a Hanukkah one.
I want more Halloween books.
Yes.
And then if you read like Terry Wilson, who also writes for Special Edition, is pretty much closed door. I mean, there is scenes, but they're completely closed door. It's like they kiss.
Same with Julianne Lindsay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so, she doesn't really.
The intrigue line though is often used to be zero spice.
Yeah.
It's now changed a bit with Katie Richards and Denise Ann Wheatley. They both write a bit more spice in it.
Yeah, I remember reading the first one in that series. I can't think of the name. It's how you started the podcast.
Oh yeah, Pursuit of Justice or something like that.
That's it. And I remember reading that one and sending like a screenshot to Julianne Lindsay and being like, "They're telling you can't have spice, but yet this paragraph." Yeah.
I just can't picture Julianne Lindsay writing spice though. She's too
me either. But I'm like after reading certain lines, and I'm just like, how are you? Okay.
There's certain authors that I just picture trying to write it going, you know, like. And there's nothing wrong with that because as much as I read it, if I was a writer, there's no way. Mine would all be behind closed doors. 100%.
Yeah. Or I would do it under a pen name so my father wouldn't.
Not even for that reason. I just think I'd giggle like a 5-year-old every time I tried to write it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He writes a lot for what is it, Entangled as well.
Correct. Entangled.
So a lot of her Westerns get published through Entangled.
Entangled from like, and this is kind of where, and I adore Brie and I miss her. We don't talk as much anymore as we used to, but we kind of had a differencing of opinion on what category was, because a lot of those like Entangled, and I think there's another one.
They make it look like they're part of the category.
They're not truly category because they might publish a book this month, and then in 3 months they'll publish 2 more. And then in 6 months, they'll publish another book. So what you need with category is it's got to be consistent. X number of books every single month, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's the bigger definition of category, right? Well, sure, sounds right to me. That sounds good to me too. I'll take that. I'm kind of over the whole Regency thing. And if I hear one more person say, if you like Bridgerton.
And I'm a fan of Bridgerton. I read the books. I love them. But not everything is Bridgerton.
The books are one of my favorite historical, it's still probably my favorite historical romance series. Don't get me started on what they did with that Blasphemy of the Television Show.
Yes. Book 4 is my favorite.
I loved Benedict's book. I loved book 2 or book 3, and they skipped it.
They're doing it for season 4.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But that's so I have the casting is amazing. I really love the casting.
The casting's fantastic.
Unbelievable. The costumes, the whole thing. But I don't like at the end of season 1, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's a spoiler that comes out at the end of book 4, and I sat there and went, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. And they changed like really ridiculous things like that didn't need to be changed. Like it's such a minor thing. Why change it?
Exactly. And I'm just like, anyway, that's Bridgerton. I haven't even watched the new season yet.
I watched it because I like the actress that they picked for Penelope.
Well, I'm going to wait until part 2 comes out.
Trust me, I'm upset at the way they decided to end it.
That's what I've heard from people. I'm like, I'm glad I'm waiting. Low spice rom-com. Don't get me wrong. No, that sounds great.
No, that's fine. I have to. We're for the Who Picked This Book Club. We're reading the next 2 in Julie's series. This is the 4th one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll be discussing that on June 26th. If I'm
Very good.
It correctly. J.R. Ward, right?
J.R. Ward, yes.
Yes.
Correct. I can't get through it. Maybe maybe. And it's not necessarily for everybody. And I find if you love the books, you might not like the show, or if you love the show, you might not like the books. I think they really are 2 separate entities.
Yeah, they're both well done.
100%.
Yeah,
but they're separate. And I think if you only saw the show and then went back to the books, haven't read the books yet. Yeah, then I think you might not be disappointed in the books, but you'll be like, okay, this isn't exactly
They're not hitting the same plot points where the book where they
they're
are
not
in the
hitting
book.
the same marks and stuff like that. Yeah. So nothing wrong with that. It's just a thing.
My mom and I watch it together because my mom loves it. My mom's getting into like Regency TV. So
Nice.
like I'm giving her all these recommendations and she keeps on looking at me. She goes, "Is that anything like the book?" I'm like, "Mom, if you're not going to read it, I'm not going to tell you."
Exactly. My mom and I watched season 1 of Bridgerton together. Difficult. That was a spicy season. And then season 2, I said,
I watched it with my mother and I'm like, and I'm a grown adult, by the way. And I'm sitting there going,
I know, right? Season 2, I said to my husband, I want to watch it. He's like, fine. So we marathoned it because I kept telling him, you're going to love this. This is spicy. You're going to like this kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. Season 2 was tame.
Season 2 was like behind closed doors. Like,
but it was actually sexier, I think.
Yeah. Right? I feel like for me, less is more.
100%. And then, so now I haven't gotten into season 3, so I don't know, but I do understand that it gets spicy as well, if it hasn't already.
In the later half. The first half isn't.
That's my understanding. I couldn't watch with my mom. Yeah, no.
Yeah. And then my mom's like, screw it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm going to sit here and melt into the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Poldark is really, that series is fantastic.
I've not read that.
I haven't read the books. Yeah, that's they did a series on the unfinished work of Jane Austen.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've not read that one.
It's really, really short. Because it was unfinished, it's only like 180 pages.
Oh, okay.
So like it's from the same creator of like Downton Abbey. If you like Downton Abbey.
All right. Yeah. I gotcha.
Let me see. So how many lines are there? Because I always get that confused.
Currently?
Yeah.
Currently there are 10, 12. Okay. 10, I'm saying 10 because let's see if I can do this off the top of my head. Heartwarming, historical, intrigue, medical, romance, presents, romantic suspense, love-inspired suspense, and who am I missing? Romantic suspense. So there's the 10.
Romantic,
Now there's 2 others because what they used to do is with the special edition was the one I missed. Special edition.
Yeah. Which is one of your favorites, I think, right? Special edition.
And they cut it down from 6 books to 4 books because they used to have every month you would get a Texas Fortunes of Texas book and a Montana Mavericks book. So now they actually remove those and now they're part of their own lines. So every month they have a new. So technically, if you wanted to say 12, but I don't count it really, you know. And
then I don't know if you technically count Afterglow or not.
I don't count Afterglow.
I don't count it.
It's not category.
No.
So I don't count as a category line.
It's just so
in my world, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. I'm not gonna. And plus, the reviews I've seen, like of people who have read it, are like.
I see it all over Instagram. Like they're always posting people doing unboxings, but I'm like,
they're pretty pictures,
and they're sending them out to people, but are they actually getting?
Depending on the people that don't read romance, from what I've seen, and I'm like, like I can see Harlequin sending it to like Nicole, who avidly reads or yourself, like who avidly reads romance, like. But some of it, I'm like, huh?
I know. I don't understand it at all.
And I'm just like, when I interviewed LaQuette in August, yeah. I'm losing time.
I know. It happens.
She was talking about because her series isn't finished when they were ending the Desire line. And I'm like, where are they going to move it? Because she was still contracted for, I think, 2 or 3.
Maisie Yates was as well, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, where are they going to put it? And she told me that they were going to move it to Presents.
Depending on the story, it was Presents or Special Edition because Maisie's books moved to Special Edition because she tends to do more cowboy stuff.
Yeah.
Which cowboy is not a thing for Presents. Whereas LaQuette's books, I could absolutely see being that very Presents type of book.
from what she told me, they're going to be cousins of the family who are like princes and princesses. That's all she told me.
As you do.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I'm here for it. I'll read anything you write. I'm here for it. It's so hard to tell. Like, this was one of the first presents that my buddy read it with somebody, and it's Pippa Roscoe.
Oh, I love Pippa. So delightful.
I love it, and I miss these covers. Like,
oh, they're they're iconic.
They're
absolutely like those circle covers are iconic.
Oh, they're so good.
I've
always new covers I hate. I can't even.
Yeah, no. I've always said that when people think about Harlequin or category romance, those are the books they're picturing.
Yeah,
those are the ones their grandmothers read. You know, with
the one with the little circle. It was the first one that I read. The little one.
Yep, but that's iconic. That's what people think of when they think Harlequin.
It's great.
Hey,
Hi.
Storm.
Hi. Thank you for coming.
Welcome. The intrigue line very stressful. The action's okay.
Some of them are, yeah.
Less stress. If you're looking for romantic suspense, the answer is no. Unfortunately, because romantic suspense is even more suspenseful. And I find even the love-inspired suspense can be pretty. It's not, I think it's not quite as, but it's more of a faith-based as well, right? So if that's not your jam, that's not what you're going to want to read.
One we read for book club, it was like a pregnant lady, and they were like throwing her around, and I'm like, I messaged Julie. I'm like, Julie, you're making my heart like want to go into a heart attack. What are you doing?
I'm reading an intrigue book right now, and it's again, what is it with these poor pregnant women having issues? Like.
And the one that you read, where she was buried alive. Oh, I will never read it because that's my like anxiety point.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people are like, I'm just gonna say no on that one.
No. Small Town is fantastic.
Heartwarming. The heartwarming.
Heartwarming. Anything by Anna Grace. It's all in the same series, like all in the same town. They're just relatives of each other. That's basically how they're connected. It doesn't really, like, for example, if I can find it. This is her new series, and it's all got to do with teachers.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And because Anna's lovely and sent me a copy signed. But her other series was about cowboys who ran an emu farm, and it was hysterical.
That's my dream.
Her emu and horses.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, you're my type of person.
That's right. What style is Presents? I have one, but haven't read it. The covers are so cute and classic. So Presents are very, very, they're the fantasy books. That's what I like to call them. And I'm not saying fantasy in terms of paranormal. I'm saying fantasy in terms of you're this poor girl who's just making ends meet, and you get on the elevator one day at work, and there's your billionaire boss on the elevator with you, and you spill coffee all over him. And the next thing you know, he's whisking you away to to Greece on his private jet. That's what I mean by fantasy. And that's the Presents line. It deals
you live in a one-story apartment, and you're going to move into this like 80 bajillion house.
Right? You had one night with your billionaire boss, and oh, surprise, guess what? You got pregnant. Now
always pregnant. Always.
I'm telling you, at least half of the books every month are, and I'm like, people are not that. I don't think.
No. That's why I enjoy I don't know if you've read any by her, but some of the ones that she's republishing that Harlequin gave her the rights for, Lucy Monroe.
I love her. I've interviewed her.
She's an absolute. I'm going to interview her this year on my channel for a second time, and I love her. She sends me stuff all the time now. She's like, I know your address, so I'm sending you stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
She's an absolute doll. And I read one book, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but her and the male suitor have a conversation like, I can't have kids. And he goes, okay, we'll adopt. I'm like, why can't that be in more books, please? Like,
exactly.
I can't physically have kids, so let's.
My issue with it is that I find it's too easy.
Yeah.
And I also find, in terms of a plot point, are they really together because they care about each other? or because of the kid?
That's my
That
biggest
has
thing.
always kind of bothered me.
That's my biggest thing.
It can't always be for each other.
And then the
Yeah.
magical, like the hidden pregnancy pisses me off.
Oh yeah, that just drives me crazy more than anything.
I'm just like, please stop.
This is your son. He's 12. Sorry, I didn't
He's
tell
8
you.
years old. You haven't seen him since he was basically in utero.
You have to have a very good explanation as to why you chose not to. That's my opinion. Yeah. Look wider. Yep. Tell me about it, Storm. There's a reason I haven't bought them.
Like they're that weird square that they do with like Cozy Mysteries now. That weird.
Yeah, it's called Mass Market Max.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it doesn't fit on my bookshelf, and they look ridiculous.
I know, and this is what annoyed me because as we talked about Heather Graham earlier, Storm, you'll attest to this one, because her and I are both fans. We love the Crew of Hunters series, so I'm collecting them as mass market paperbacks. The new ones are in the Mass Market Max, and I'm like, what is this? Now I understand why all these people on BookTube for years were complaining when they changed the line. I'm like, oh, get over yourself. It doesn't matter. You changed the series halfway through. Now I get it. It's annoying. I get it now.
Like it's not category, but there's a young adult duology that I really like. The second one's coming out in October. They changed the art style for book 2.
Oh no.
And I was like, it doesn't match. And there's only going to be 2 books. This is annoying me. Stop it.
Call it Cape Cod Summer. Oh, is that the Susan Mallory? Let me check.
It sounds like a title that would be hers.
Cape, not vape. Cape Cod. I swear I have not been looking up vaping.
It's Saturday.
Joe McNally. Oh, buy it. Joe McNally is fabulous.
I'll put that on the list because I haven't made my purchases for next month.
For Harlequin books?
Yeah.
If you purchase now, it's a buy 3, get 2 free sale.
Okay, so where when I get off here, that's what I'll be doing.
Ask me how I know and ask me how much I bought.
No judgment for book people.
I messaged my husband because I was going to get, because of course I read digitally, right?
Yes.
So I bought all ebooks. And I was actually going to go ahead and buy like the box sets, like the 3 books and 3 books for the whole month. Yeah. So I texted my husband, I'm like, can I justify this? So
hey, you're getting more books.
Yeah. I'm like, I can get 32 books for this amount of money. I decided not to do it though, because I do love the idea of them, but I'm like, I actually prefer to read them singly because I'm that weird person who needs to know how far I am in the book.
See that I get them through the library with the bundles like that, and I'm like, yes. I can't tell where I'm at.
I know, it drives me. I'm 5% in. I've been reading this forever.
Right, I've been reading this for 2 hours. How am I 6% in? Please.
That's right. Mismatch. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's
what they should be called. Joe McNally. Okay. I'll definitely be reading that for sure.
She is really good. No, I'm also collecting Crew in the mass market once. I have a couple.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're doing it with Cozy Mysteries too. It's so weird.
I know they did that with Julianne's series though. The first so many were in, and then the last book I think was in this max size.
They did it. It was so weird. The first 3 were normal size. 4 was the max size, and then they went back to the normal size for 5 and 6. Number 7 is max.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm like, on my bookshelf, it just looks ridiculous.
They should almost do like a print on demand, and you can pick. Right. Which one do you want?
Yes. Or give you the option. And that's another question. I've noticed that when I've been looking on the Harlequin website, how there's 3 options for not these, but the mystery, the love-inspired mystery sizes. And I'm like, I'm so confused. That was one $17, one is $6, and one is $5.
Do you want to give me just 1 second and I will show you the difference?
Please.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oops. Sorry, I'm having an avalanche of books. Hold on. There we go. No more avalanche.
Luckily, the book room is literally right beside me. Okay, so this is a true large print.
Yeah. How come only in that line? Like, do they all proliferate?
I don't know. Again, I think it might be an age thing.
Yeah.
That maybe an older generation really likes them. I was really lucky, and I got 20 of these at the thrift store
Wow.
for a big $1.49 a pop.
That's why I love thrift shopping.
And, whether or not I get to them, I've got them. But I do have a couple of the regular Love Inspired in this size as well that I happened upon.
Yeah, like this is the first month that I've seen the Love Inspired in like the extra large. So or the Love Inspired.
If you see the true large print, this is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm like, how is it in one line?
They're probably for libraries, or people would buy them for, and I'm not saying this to be mean, for nursing homes, things
or
like
their
that.
grandparents.
Here, Grandma.
Hey, I'm at the point in my life that I need them, so I don't judge anybody.
You laugh. I think this is fantastic.
It's fair. It's absolutely, it's great.
Also,
I love it.
Print, you fly through it a lot quicker too, right?
Yeah. With that big of a large print, I don't need my glasses, so I can read without my glasses on. So
I cannot. I need the glasses regardless.
As I'm getting older, I'm getting to that point.
Yeah, exactly, Storm. I want to know where I am in the book, and I don't want to have to math it.
We might be able to squeeze that in July, because we're only doing one book.
I don't know if that's part of a series or not.
That was going to be my next question, because you never know.
Whereas Storm knows with me, it doesn't matter. I will read it anyway.
Something I didn't even realize it was book 2 until like the last page.
Meanwhile, Storm's clutching her chest as usual. Oh my God.
Having a heart attack.
Well, you're all in luck. It's the first
book
in the series. And the second book, even better. The second book, there's no cover yet, but it's a Christmas story.
Yay!
I love a good Christmas book. All right, so I'll be reading that one soon. I'll have to go on Ye Old Harlequin website and buy some. They're old folks.
Twist my arm.
Right? Yeah.
It's nice.
Yep. Steve Donahue will read Harlequin books on the subway and not give a crap.
I don't care.
He's awesome.
I had a guy staring at me while I was at the doctor's appointment. I'm like, you're in your phone. I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
Go away.
Every time I'm driving to work, I look over, like I'll be stopped at the lights, and I look over the bus stop, and every single person is doing this on a phone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No shade, but I'm just saying that would hurt my neck after
it's
a while.
become habit.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
I think Storm is having a heart attack over there.
Yeah. Reading out of series, Storm.
But sometimes with some of those larger series, the books are so old you can't find them anymore. That
too. Like the one I read recently, the intrigue novel where the female lead was a pastor.
I love that.
It's book 49. You're telling me you're going to read 48 books to get to that one? No. Storm.
What's the other one? The Texas Cattlemen's Club?
Yeah. But there's mini series within those series.
Yeah.
And actually, plugging myself just a little bit, I am going to be doing a summer read along with one of those series. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing that next week. I am
not. I'm going to just automatically include myself in that because I need to read them.
It's not going to be. It's going to be the Coltons.
Okay. I have a couple of those.
Which is the romantic suspense ones.
Are they the ones with the occasional like dog on the cover too? Yes.
Correct.
Because I found a couple. They have a ton of them at my library.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have any of the other like Harlequins, but they have all of them at my library.
Yep.
Specifically,
the intrigue lines are a bit more intrigue, a bit more mystery than romance. Yeah. Whereas the romantic suspense line is a little bit more romance than, chasing down the bad guy.
And it's so hard now. Like, you used to be able to say like, oh, this is no spice because of the line. But like with
romantic suspense is spice, full stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I miss some of the spicier lines, like the Dare line.
The Dare line was good. I mean, that's where Rachel Stewart got her start, right?
That's how I found her.
Yeah, exactly. And, I like her stuff and I like some of the Dare stuff, but it wasn't particularly my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah.
I preferred Blaze. I felt like Blaze was a bit more fun.
And the Blaze covers were just a lot of fun.
They were delightful. They were delightful.
Yeah, there's one guy who was shirtless holding like a heart that had chocolate in it. And I'm like, only this line could get away with that.
Or one of my favorites I ran across, I think I have it on my shelf. It's a firefighter with the pants, no shirt, and he's carrying the chainsaw over his shoulder. I'm like, I don't.
Oh, you should. Yeah, you showed that on your channel before, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna hurt.
That's not how you're supposed to do it. Well done. Well done. Aw, thank you.
You're one of the reasons I started my channel. You and Nicole were the ones that like pushed me to get it done. And I just, in March, it was a year. So.
Really? Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
I wanted to say hello to all the new people because for some reason over the past week, I've gained like 50 subscribers. So hi, new people.
Excellent. Always good. Yes, yes. But you go ahead, Storm, and you buy those 48 books.
If you can find them.
Through all of them, and then you get to book 49, and then you can come talk to me. We'll be in the nursing home by then.
Exactly.
I understand that there are some series you want to read in order, and I will talk about this when I talk about the Colton read-along, because they're 6-book or 12-book series within the Colton universe, and you kind of do need to read all 6 in order or 12 in order because there's an overarching plot that goes across all 6. Do you know what I mean?
There was one series, and I'm trying to remember who wrote it. Her last name's Whitefeather, but I can't remember her first
Sherry
name.
Whitefeather.
Yes, thank you. There was one that was like a 4-book series that I definitely recommend you read in order because there's spoilers.
But I mean, the ones like the one that I was talking about, like the one with the pastor, it's Connaught County, but literally all the books just take place in the same town. There's nothing that joins them together other than it's all in this one county.
Exactly.
Evidently, 49 books in is a very high crime rate. So
maybe you should move out.
It's like
what's the St. Mary Mead, the one with Marvel.
That and if you live in Gotham, you know, I would leave there too. Yes.
Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's any more questions that I could think of. So what made you start reading category, or how did you get into like becoming the category queen that you are?
I like to blame my aunt. I've told this before on my own channel, of course, but it's fine. Obviously, I like to talk about it because we all like a good origin story.
Yes.
And my aunt was the head of payroll for the Toronto Public Library System. And she was the Harlequin person. That's what she read. And I remember being a kid thinking, oh, Aunt Sandy's reading the scandalous books, you know, and I would pick them up when I was little and I'm like, you know, but I never got into them. And then I was 20 something because it's been over 20 years that I've been reading them. And I was going to the cottage for summer vacation, like for a week. And I stopped at a store, whatever, like a Walmart kind of an idea. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't bring anything to read. Because back then, even though I was a reader, I wasn't that reader yet. I wasn't that one who carried something around with her all the time. And I'm like, well,
now we all do.
Right now it's like everywhere. But I was like, God, I'm going to be sitting outside in the sunshine. I want a book. So I went and I looked, like I was saying about those impulse buys.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're there for. And I saw a book called Shotgun Nanny and Heaven Scent, but SCENT, like a smell.
Okay.
And it had a cartoony cover, and it was a 2-book in one, and it was part of the Harlequin Duets line, which is no longer around.
I was going to say, I've never heard of that line.
Yeah, they're romantic comedies. And I think
we
it was
need to bring that back.
Right?
Can we bring that back, please?
Romantic comedies is huge right now in the book world. Why they're not capitalizing on this, I don't understand.
And half the time I read some of them and I'm like, this wasn't funny. This was depressing.
Pretty much. But this was like, this was on sale for $4.99. I remember exactly because I still have the original book on my shelf.
I love it. I was going to
$4.99. And I grabbed it and I'm like, oh, this will be fun. It's a nice, thick, chunky book. That'll take me the week I'm away to read. I finished it in 2 days. Yeah. So, and then I drove into town to go and get more. And that was it. And after that, like I was born to be a series reader. I read my way through the Babysitters Club as a kid. I read my way through Sweet Valley. I love the idea.
Babysitters Club was my jam. So when you're doing the reread, it brings me such happy heart.
It's just, there's something about knowing exactly what you're going to get into when you pick up that book. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to guess. Like, for example, do I have it behind me? I do. Christina Lauren. Yeah. She or they are one of my favorite authors. I love them. And I tried to read their last book. This wasn't the Soulmate Equation. Maybe it was the Soulmate.
No, which one? Because I can see the cover and I don't remember.
It's kind of got the double helix on it.
Yeah.
The male lead cheated on his wife.
Cheating.
And I immediately went no.
Mm-mm.
So, at least when I'm picking up one of these books, I know what I'm getting. And I know I'm not going to suddenly be surprised by something like that. Although I am still super excited and I need to get to this one.
Well, isn't that connected to the Unhoneymooners somehow?
Is it really? I didn't realize.
I think it's like the sister or cousin or someone.
Might be
their love story.
I will report back.
Yeah, let me know, because I love Unhoneymooners. I love that. But
that's the thing. It's like we only have so many days in our, hours in our day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I mean, if you want to branch out and try something really cool and whatever, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like you said, you want your mac and cheese reading. You want your, and that's
this is my nighttime reading when I'm half asleep.
Right. And the thing is that I just started reading them. And when I first started on my channel, I was very quiet about the fact that I read category because I did not want, like, I've gone back and watched some of my old videos where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reading this too. Ha ha ha.
There's judgment.
Yeah.
Still.
But then as I got like through the channel more, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. And then I suddenly became the one who talked about categories. So, and then when Harlequin actually approached me to be doing videos for their channel, I mean, I literally cried. I actually cried. I couldn't believe it.
I was that way when I got sent a early copy of, he's a horror author, but I got sent an early copy of one of my favorite books of all time now. But I didn't know that at the time, and he's awesome. And I just like started crying. And my mom's really supportive. She's just like, it's so cool that you know all these authors and that they send you stuff. I'm like, I don't ask half the time.
Right? Exactly. I mean, when they called me, because they reached out to me, they and emailed me, and then I had a phone call with them. And this was before my grandmother passed away. So we're going back 8 years.
Were you steeped in books at the time? Because that's when I found
I think
you.
I was. Yeah. And I called home and my dad answered and I was in tears and I told him and he's like, he was so proud of me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so cool.
I'm like, he goes, I'm not going to say anything. Wait till you tell your grandmother this weekend. Because my grandmother also loved to read them. Right. So, and grandma was thrilled. But that, and when I got the book from Rachel Stewart, when Brie and I got the books from Rachel Stewart a few months ago, or not months ago, last year, whenever it was, and Rachel Stewart dedicated her one book to us, and they categorically romance. I can't remember. I have to look.
Oh, that's awesome!
But I opened it up and I could not believe that I actually had a book dedicated to me, by one of my absolute favorite authors. Right? What book was it? I have to look it up. Yeah, I can't remember now. It was one that she wrote for one she wrote for the romance line.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But it's dedicated to the categorically romance.
I love it. It's so
good. So I mean, it's little things like that just it kind of justifies what you're doing.
Yeah, like, it makes you feel like all this work is for something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing is that I've always felt that category does not get the love it deserves because there are some damn good authors.
Yeah.
Who are working this. Authors that you wouldn't know who wrote for category.
Nora Roberts. I found a bunch of Nora Roberts ones.
Nora Roberts. That's where she got her start, was through category. Yeah. And I think people just like, oh, pish.
Jill Salves.
Oh, Jill Shalvis. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't find her till later, but now I'm trying to like find the old.
And Maisie Yates, and she still writes for category. Yeah. Rayanne Payne, Susan Mallory, Susan Wigg. No, it's not Susan Wiggs. Susan Mallory did though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I keep getting asked to do a video on, I bet you didn't know they wrote for category.
Yeah, you should. Totally. You should. And that's like, I just read one by R. Berry Flowers.
Oh, him. He is.
And fantastic. I love that it's a man writing.
He's not the first. He's not the first.
Really?
There was a gentleman who wrote for super romance, which was
Okay.
K-N, like the letter K, the letter N, Casper. It was Ken Casper.
I think I have a couple of them in my
He
book.
did some NASCAR books, which were fabulous.
Oh, I
But
love
Our
it.
Fairy Flowers, he's got a 4-book set,
Yeah.
and it takes place in Hawaii.
Yes. Because I think that's where he's
on
from.
audio. They're
Yeah.
all on audio, and they're
Are
fabulous.
they really? Because I read the first two. I got it in like a bundle
The
from my
next one
library.
audio. Yep.
Okay. Yay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there have been several men who have written under pseudonyms.
Yeah, and I love that like men are getting more comfortable writing romance.
100%.
And I love it. I'm like, there's no shade in it.
God, no. Not at all.
I'm trying to talk my boyfriend into, because he's got a great voice and he does like different voices and stuff. I'm like, you need to do like romance audiobooks. Please. I'm like, make a reel. Like you're literally, he used to work for the local news. So I'm like, you're used to all this stuff, so just do it. Like, I will not be mad if you start making money by reading books. That's fine. That's fine.
My husband's far too quiet for that. He tends to mumble, so I don't think that would work so good.
No, my it's funny. I moved down here to meet a guy from like 2 towns over from where I grew up. Weird thing. I moved 600 miles to meet a guy whose parents grew up 20 minutes from where I grew up.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, the world's too small.
It's way too small. Small. Oh, of course, always BSC, man. I think that was a lot of us. It was the gateway for a lot of us. Oh,
that and the super mysteries, like that was my jam back in the day.
Oh, I love those so much. I'm like,
oh, I found one old one that,
of course they are.
That's like I think it's a Halloween one, and it's just
the haunted house
beat up, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Love.
Hi. I actually did a live show where you can actually make it and don't have to watch the replay because in Belgium.
Oh wow! Hello from Belgium, or hello to Belgium.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Is there any specific line or specific author that you would like to go back to category?
I mean, to bring a line back, if they were gonna, zombie a line and bring it back from the dead, it would be a toss-up between Blaze and American Romance, just because I do love me a good cowboy.
I found a full box at a used bookstore, and they were like, "We're closing. Give us $20." Okay,
take them. They are fabulous.
They're great.
They are what a lot of the authors who now write for Heartwarming came from.
Yeah. Now that you said that, that makes complete sense.
Yep. But in terms of an author, I just think it would be fun to see some of the big names who, like a Jill Shalvis.
Yes.
Just write one just for fun, because what we were talking at the beginning about talking about the 75th anniversary, that they've issued, there's going to be 8 books in total. So there's 2 a month for the next 4 months. And they're by like their best-selling authors. They're brand new stories. So they're getting a new Heather Graham. We're getting a new Rayanne Thane.
I saw the Rayanne Thane on the website the other day.
For their 75th anniversary, to bring back and to ask Debbie Maycomer to write one of these. Ask Jill Shalvis to write one of these.
Ask Nora Roberts. She would do it.
Right? Like, and that's what I mean. Like,
the woman owns a town in Maryland. Like, she's got enough time.
Hello. But like, that's the thing. Like, and they have a Brenda Jackson. They have I don't know if it's a Maisie Yates or not, but some of these authors who do not write for them anymore to come back. And if they had even done one a month, that would have been spectacular.
Same Storm. The paranormal line was my jam. Yeah. And I want it back so badly.
So many people have said that. Like, it wasn't my thing, but so many people have said that.
I forget what the line was, but I remember there was a line of gothic romances.
Yeah, the gothic romance line.
And I just want that back so bad because I grew up reading Jane Eyre. I was a weird child.
Mm-hmm. There was only 36 books in that series, or in that line.
And then what's the other one? Kimani, I would like to come back.
Well, those they've amalgamated into what yes, I like the idea, but I like the fact that they amalgamated and they don't have their separate own line now. It's like, now you're getting these stories in this, or what? Sorry. I have to go.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right, give me 5 minutes.
Okay. Everything okay?
Yeah, no, I just said I would do a drive, but I didn't realize the time.
I didn't even realize we were on that long. Oh my
No,
goodness.
it's fine. You're not on long at all. Not at all. My mother's antsy about doing things. Mm-hmm.
Understand. My grandmother's the same way.
Yep.
I got it.
You offer to do something, but it's on their time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. So you can find them though if you go on thrift books and stuff.
I want to start looking for them because I love Gothic.
I got 2 of them. I think Bree's the one who actually found that line. I didn't even realize it existed.
Gothic is not. I was weird.
I haven't
read all
even
like
read
the
any of them
Gothic
yet, and I
ones.
really should.
You should do like
For Halloween.
Yes, do it in October.
Yep. No, that would be awesome. That would be awesome for sure. But anyway, my dear, I'm so
Thank you
sorry.
so much. No,
really
you're fine.
apologize.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope we'll in a couple months maybe we can
absolutely do this again for sure. Like maybe in the fall. We'll do what we'll do is we'll do something like a Christmas, like prelude to the Christmas or the holiday books.
Yes. So like September,
October. Yeah. Because
Perfect.
that's when all the holiday books start coming out. We can do a discussion.
I'm so excited.
Yay!
Thank you
so
again
much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody watching during the live. Thank you for anybody watching the playback. And if you have any questions for Sarah or myself, you can put them in the description down below, and I will put them on a list so we can talk about it when I have Sarah back on the channel.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.